Welcome to the Indie Corner. We're talking about all things independent comics, specifically the deadliest high school comic book in the 80s. Rick Remender's Deadly Class. I'm Mikey.
I'm Rebecca.
And today, people, we're back at it again with another episode of the Deadly Class podcast, where we're going to be talking about Volume 2, which is going to be titled Kids of the Black Hole. And that's going to cover issues 7 through 11. And I'm excited. Rebecca, I hope you're excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be fun. I think this volume is really fun. Yeah, obviously Demoan couldn't make it, so it's just gonna be the two of us. So I think which is fine. I mean, we could just do it ourselves. I mean,
yeah, we've done enough podcasts. We can hold it together.
That's true. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna play the background music while we get to it. And yeah, so Rebecca, you got issue number 7.
Yes. So diving into this volume, we open up on March 1st, 1988, as a man closes a free clinic for the night, turning away someone at the door. As he exits, we see the girl who was asking to be let in, and she attacks him. He tries to fight back, but the man runs into her 2 accomplices as he cut away. So the next day, we catch up with Marcus, and we learn that while he's doing better, Maria, who he's now secretly dating, has been going through it, alternating between depression and mania. Mm-hmm. Additionally, we learn Marcus has started working at a comic book shop, and Saya's been on the case of finding Chico's kidnapper. In the present, Marcus gets invited to a supposedly legendary party thrown by Lex, who's like an old school punk. Mm-hmm. Shabnam asks to come along, but Marcus just kind of ditches him.
It's such high school shit. Like, it's just like, the poor kid is like, I want to come and get involved, and like, I want to be cool for a day, and he's like, no. Stay home.
It's like we said, it's kind of just edgy high school.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the party, Lex roasts every one of his guests, and Marcus, having no self-awareness, is like, you talk a lot of shit for someone who's also a poser. So Saya drags Marcus away from the party, and the two share a moment smoking cigarettes together and almost kissing when they're interrupted by an arrow flying at them. Thinking their mystery archer is Lex, Marcus chases after them, only to see the perpetrator is actually Maria, jealous and crazed that Saya was going to steal Marcus away from her. Despite saying she's crazy, the two kiss and make up as Saya watches from afar.
Kiss and make up, bro. They straight up fucking this graveyard, bro. It's kind of wild.
Listen, when you're horning in a teenager, there's no thought process.
That is true. That's true.
So scene change over to a place called the Tenderloin. We see Fuckface is crashing with his cousins. I don't know if they're actually related or not.
No, they're related. They're all related. Pretty related.
We'll get to that. But they're the inbred villains from this issue's opening, and we learn that he's trying to become a famous serial killer with an MO and everything. Of course, his cousins keep fucking up his MO, which pisses him off. We also learn that the woman from earlier spots Saya as she discovers where they're hiding out. Finally, we've seen change over once again to Master Lin's office as it's revealed that Shabnam turned over Marcus's journal to Master Lin. And that's the end of the issue.
Well, you breezed that really quickly, didn't you? Well, granted, it's a quick read, so I mean, like, I get it. But yes. This issue is great. This issue is really good, actually. I do want to talk about real quick because, okay, here's the thing, right? Like, off camera, I think like last week, I asked you about because you reread it a little bit ahead of time than I did, and I was like, hey, like, what did you think of this issue? And they're like, oh, like, what do you think of Marcus? And your immediately response, I think, was like, yo, like, he gets a few, even though he's an edgy boy, he gets the little points down because you know how he treats women.
Yeah. So what you need to understand is my respecting women levels will always come before my respecting edgy boys levels.
Which is fair. And like the thing is, like, when we start this volume off and we get that little recap of what Marcus has been doing, and it's interesting because, like, even though like him and Maria are a thing now, even though it's like, I think it's kind of forced in terms of like due to Chico being dead due to the hands of Maria last volume. they kind of like, hey, like let's like be in a relationship, even though
it's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated, even though they can't publicly announce they're in a relationship, because once they do that, then they're worried that like people are gonna connect to Chico's disappearance. So that I find very interesting. But yeah, it's kind of wild just because the way Marcus is narrating it, it almost seems like, yeah, like she's kind of crazy and is going through shit right now, and he also doesn't want to be alone. So like they're just like, hey, like might as well let's just be a thing, even though it's not really a healthy way to start a relationship.
Yeah, I think Remender does a really good job here of kind of getting in like a teenager's head, because Marcus's thought process is very like self-involved and self-centered.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it works because he is a teenager and because he like didn't have those relationships, even like the really toxic relationships, when he was like living on the streets and in the boys' home and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he does a really good job with that, and it makes sense to be like why Marcus would think that way due to what he's gone through, and due to like him like losing the amount of people he did in his life and the abuse he's experienced. And like, yeah, like even though this isn't a healthy thing to go through right now, it's like he's like might as well, because I don't know how long this relationship will last. This could easily be taken away from me too, so fuck it. I mean, like might as well. Like that's the thing. He's like might as well. And it's just I don't know. It's interesting the way he does it, and I do like the party in this. In the show it's different the way they do it, but like the party in this is really interesting. I mean, showing the dynamics of the various cliques and stuff that go there, and we just get into more of like Lex as a character. He's very he thinks he's like the shit, even though he's still just a rat like everybody, like Marcus and Billy and everyone. So he's still low on the food chain, but it's the punk thing, so he doesn't really give a fuck. The thing is like kind of wild. He sort of talks shit on everybody, even though they deserve it, because a lot of these people do have problems. But like it's just that stuff is interesting, and it's just
I think it's also interesting that Lex and Marcus kind of have like a little bit of a foil thing going on. Like I kind of alluded to it during my quick summary there, but
yeah,
they both think that they're kind of above it all, but they're really not. Like they
really
still
not.
want everything that everyone else has,
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, and I do like the fact that like and we're gonna find out next in the next couple issues like how that relationship goes forward. We're just like, yeah, they kind of just have to deal with each other. But yeah, I like how you pointed that out. Also, I also want to touch on like even though Marcus is still is him and Maria are a secret thing, like you can still tell that like he's still kind of got a connection with Asaya still, and it's just like it's because they almost kiss, and then like literally just like for a moment like he forgets that like he's in a relationship the moment he's with Saya for a second. And again, like I can understand why you knock him down, because like that's not good. And
it's the start of his scumbag era, honestly.
But and then what else going on? Yeah, let's see. Oh, the fuckface stuff, that's cool. Again, more of the inbred. I love the way that Wes Craig draws like his cousins or his posse. They're all just like mental, and like they all just like kind of like deformed and twisted physically, and also Remender's good at writing them because they're all like they're inbred, so they're all just like they're all just stupid, but they're drawn very well in terms of like how creepy they are, and I really like it. Also you ignore the fact that like fuckface dunked his cousin into a toilet of his own shit. Like he was literally taking a dump, and then he took his cousin because he was freaking messing up the MO that he wants, and then just dunks him his head in the toilet. It's disgusting. But I want to ask you this though, like what are your thoughts on like fuckface, like his ideas of like his goal of him being a secret? What are your thoughts on that? Does it make sense to you?
A little bit. I wouldn't say I'm like I find him that compelling. I don't think he's really meant to be, because he's literally an 80s villain in this,
That's true.
I don't know. I'm more like interested in like how he like plays off of Marcus. I don't really have
Mhm.
too many thoughts on him just by himself, you know.
That's true. Yeah, and we'll probably go into it later on, but that's one I was just curious. But yeah, and also the ending. I think the ending is really cool. That little twist where like, yeah, Shabnam is a mole for Lin to keep tabs on Marcus, which makes sense, you know. Like I mean, like it makes sense why that would happen. Because you know Marcus is the new kid. He's the rat. Like he kind of Lin wants to keep tabs on and know his progress, and also to get inside his own head, so he could probably manipulate him later. I think that's a really cool thing.
Obviously, you've read this before. I haven't. I don't know what him being a mole means, like just yet, in terms of like where it's gonna go, but it's there. It's kind of interesting.
It's just him planting the seeds. Also, Christian's here, and he said I tuned in on the inbred part. Yes, Christian, thank you for tuning in due to the inbreds in this book. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, overall, I think this issue is a good start to the arc, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me. All right, so Rebecca, you want to move on to issue 8?
Yeah, sure thing. So I might breeze through this, so try to keep up. I love this cover here. This cover is really cool. We didn't talk about the last cover, but
the last cover is also great, but this one might be my favorite out of the volume. I think this one and probably the next one. But
yeah. So we start this issue with Saya informing Marcus that she's found Fuckface's location, whose real name is Chester Wilson. Saya asks Marcus's tragic backstory regarding the two of them, and he hands her his journal. So it's revealed that the orphanage Marcus used to live in forced kids to work in a sweatshop. After 9 years of torture, Marcus is planning his escape, having slowly collected sewing needles by using the inside of his cheeks basically as pincushions.
Do you think that's actually practical? Like, I don't like...
I mean, I wouldn't say so, but this is a very, like, fantastical situation.
That is true. I was like, even when I watched the show, I was like, does that make sense? Like I don't know.
I feel like it would work. I just feel, well, it might work. I don't know. I can't say I've ever tried.
No. If there's a medical expert that like watches our podcast miraculously, can you like put in the comments and answer this would work or not? I'm actually very curious.
I feel like somebody who's been to prison would know this answer.
That's true. Okay.
Anyway, he's trying to escape. He's collecting the sewing needles. However, that day he's accused of stealing the needles. And he and another girl are taken to the office of Mistress Rank, who is the lady who runs the orphanage. Marcus is strip searched and takes a slap to the face with the needles in his cheek still, but manages to keep his cool and leave the encounter without more suspicion. Back in his room, Chester demands his sandwich from Marcus's last meal. As he starts eating it, he realizes it tastes kind of funny and collapses. But before he can beat Marcus up, with Marcus bragging over him that it was poisoned. And he's a dumbass for eating a poisoned sandwich. Then, using his sewing needles, Marcus reveals a nail bomb he's made, and he calls the guards in to deal with Chester and detonates the bomb, protecting himself with a mattress.
Yeah. And I want to take a note that like he got he didn't just come up with this nail bomb idea out of nowhere. He got it from quote unquote like Chester's anarchist cookbook. I guess it was like a book that he just had or something that like had all this DIY explosive shit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And these guards fucking melt. Oh my god. They
yeah.
Can you imagine that?
They look like zombies in this panel.
They got melted and had like shrapnel like in their face. That's a brutal way to go.
Yeah. So stealing a gun from one of the dead guards, or I'm assuming they're dead. If not, they will be in a second. But Marcus makes his escape, shooting the guards that cross his path before making it back to the office and pistol whipping Mistress Rank. Upon waking up, she finds herself handcuffed to her desk, and Marcus explains that while he wanted to kill her, it'll be worse for her to see everyone escape and for her to face real justice. So Marcus frees the other kids, but unbeknownst to him at the time, Fuckface was alive and killed all of them, burning the building down when he was done. And this crime was pinned on Marcus, and hence that's why people keep thinking he's a child killer. Finally, back in the present, Saya embraces Marcus, though Maria catches this, but Saya plays it off, saying in part as a reference to Chico's body that she found the guy she was looking for, as her and Marcus hold on to his journal. And that's the end of issue 8.
Alright. I like this issue. It's so tragic because I do like the fact that they build up to it. Like, we don't, like, you know, we get teases of it and hints of it in the first volume, and now we're actually finally seeing what happened to Marcus and the experience at the boys' home. Yeah, and it's again, it's just like, poor kid. Like, what the hell? You know, it's like, that's kind of why, like, you know, it makes sense why Marcus, after, you know, losing his parents and then ending up in, like, for 9 years in, like, pretty much hell, you'd see why he thinks the way he does, and, you know, and views the world the way he does. I mean, it's kind of justified in a way, but, like, it's pretty tragic. And yeah, like, it's just, you know, not just the abuse from not just the employees and the mistress and the headmistress at the boys' home, but just like the abuse from his roommate Chester, which again, we already kind of knew that, you know, some of the stuff that Chester did, but here, like, you know, it's just Marcus, you know, taking his last stance, telling me he had enough and trying to escape, and it's a pretty good plan for the most part until it, like, goes horribly wrong. And it's just like, and here's the thing, right? When I was rereading this, I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
I think this would easily have been avoided if, like, he double checked to see if Chester was actually dead.
You always gotta double tap. That's like the main rule in these.
That's the thing. Like, listen, he got the poison down, but, like, when he grabbed one of the guards' guns, he could just quickly just pop the cap in the head, done, and just continue rolling. And, like, I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, I guess it's reasonable to assume after you poison and nail bomb somebody that they're gonna be dead, but
that's true.
You gotta be on that shit, you know?
Listen, Woody Harrelson was right about something. Always double tap. It makes sense. But I mean, and it makes sense to, like, you know, even though Marcus kind of, you know, adopted this rep that Chester had started for himself unintentionally. Like, I find it very interesting, the fact that Marcus, even though, like, yeah, like, that rep isn't deep down, he knows that's not who he is. Even, like, if you know what I'm saying, like,
yeah,
he's perceived as a child killer, but, like, deep down, like, as a human being, you know that's not him. And I find that, you know, kind of be a pretty cool contrast. But
he couldn't even kill the one child he was trying to kill.
Yeah, but it's true. But when I think you mentioned the last issue, which I like, where it's like, you know, when the second issue when he's with Willie, you know, even though that's not who he is, he's still willing to do whatever it takes to, you know, survive when he kills Rory at the homeless shelter, at the homeless camp. So
yeah, I don't even think it's about survival. I think it's just, like, going back to, like, the rage inside of him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love how this backstory is told in the issue, and you can, like, feel, like, you know, the kind of, like, built up, like, rage and, like, pain over the years, and, like, how desperate he is to escape. Like, this is his one chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that we got a little more in the orphanage of just, like, why he wants to save the other kids, like, why it's not just good enough for him to escape.
I mean, sorry, continue.
I mean, that's basically it. I'm not saying you need that. I just thought that would have made, like, the connection better.
Yeah.
But I do like his, like, whole thing when he's, like, talking to what's her face, where he's like, you're gonna face justice and every one of these kids is gonna escape and all that kind of stuff. I really like that moment.
Yeah, very optimistic within, and that's when he feels more, and I feel like, you know, it gives him a sense of guilt, especially when we first introduced with him, because he wanted those kids to live. Like, they were tortured and abused just like he was. Like, they also deserve a second chance, but unfortunately, because of, you know, Chester like not dying, they don't get that. They all died in the end, and it's just like he just has that residing guilt on his conscience, and, you know, it is what it is, and it sucks.
I think that also goes back to like what we were just talking about with last issue, and I guess more in this upcoming issues. How Marcus basically stole Fuckface's cred.
Yeah, that's true. He did, and it's just like, yeah, and it's not even on him. Like, you know, it's not even that's like, you know, he didn't ask for it. It just kind of happened.
Marcus doesn't want it, and Fuckface doesn't want him to have it.
Yeah, Marcus the only reason why Marcus even act king is so that he doesn't like sleep in trash and shit and gets like hunted by the cops. Like even though he doesn't want the rep, he's using it to his advantage to like, you know, stay alive and survive. It's great. It's great. But overall, this issue is really good, and also the fact that Maria cock blocks again. Is just,
she's his girlfriend.
Listen, man. Listen, man. I'm a strong advocate of Marcus and Maria not being together. So, and you will understand.
It's toxic. It's toxic. I'm not gonna act like it's not.
Yeah.
But he still shouldn't be doing that shit.
He shouldn't be. But yeah, nah. I do like the little. I think it's like, again, we're seeing more of Saya kind of like what's the phrase? You know, getting out of her shell when she hears his story, and it's just like, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and like kind of like comforts him. I think that's a great moment. And because again, we don't really know much about Saya. Like she's still that like stoic Yakuza girl who doesn't really who's very mysterious, which is a part of her character, and it's just like the fact that she's like, oh no, listen, I can empathize with this kid and then console him. I think it's great. You know, it's good stuff. But yeah, it's good stuff. All right, that's pretty much it. I think we're gonna go on to issue number 9. Oh, we're at 9. 9. Yes. So issue number 9, people. Love this cover. This cover is so cool. I like it. I like creative covers like this where it's just, you know, it's you know, it's a piece of paper going on with Marcus being severed and stuff, and like the logo is all scratched up like it's done in pen. It's cool. I like it a lot. It's very creative.
Yeah, I also like that it stands out a little bit from the other covers we had so far.
That's why I keep teetering if like this one's my favorite or the last one's my favorite, because I love the colors in the last one a lot, and then just like the design. But this is very creative. So yeah, that's just me. So it transitions to Juarez, Mexico in 1979, and we are introduced to Maria's family. So this is Maria when she was a child, and her mom, her dad, and I think like either her 2 uncles or her uncle or his dad's friends. I don't really know what it is. But they're just chilling, having a good old time, being a family. I think they're like rolling joints too, which is like nice. Do that. Good for y'all. And they hear a knock at the door, and Maria's dad goes to check it out, and we see a little boy outside, you know, give him some fresh tortillas, you know, handmade. He's like, listen, go away, we're good. And it's like, you know, like we have all we need. He's like, no, but you get what you deserve. And this kid pulls out a gun and shoots Maria's dad in the gut, and they're basically ambushed by these goons. And I love the designs of these guys, but these goons basically taking out everybody one by one. The guys, the 2 friends get blown to pieces and like sliced up. Maria's mom, who is pregnant, by the way, gets basically one of these guys who wears like all white and cool design, basically sets her on fire, and she basically pretty much burns to death, and it's like very gruesome. And Maria's watching all of this, like she's watching all of this happen before her eyes. And to continue on, this one huge dude who I don't think they reveal the name of, drags Maria's dad outside, and we're introduced to the character of Alma El Diablo, who is Chico's father, and basically he takes Maria's dad, crucifies this man, and pretty much and is about to kill Maria as well, until Chico, who is the boy that, you know, was the tortilla boy that shot his dad, her father, is revealed, oh wait, no, like she's one of the kids in my class. She's very useful. She can be very valuable, and which, you know, convinces El Diablo to save Maria and basically like take her in instead. And it's basically a sad moment where we see, you know, Maria's dad on the cross bleeding out and basically telling Maria, I love you, and make sure to do whatever they say no matter what. And she's just crying for her papa, and it's really sad. it's really sad. So then it transitions to the present, where Victor seems to be like, going into the school with a gun and brandishing it around, but it is revealed that it's a training exercise, and Maria is, basically like using her skills of deception and stealth to take down Victor, which she gets high remarks for. And while the teacher is talking with her and explaining to her what she did right, Victor makes a remark about I think it's something, makes a remark about Chico, which basically makes her emotional and basically calls her to cry and run away. And Marcus is about to go towards her until Shabnam is like, "Oh wait, no! If you go towards her, people will know you're together, and then they'll suspect something's wrong with Chico. So don't do that." I think it's really cool. We got a comment. Lord, this comic is fucked. Yes, it is, Christian. Yes, it is. But yeah. So anyway, it transitions to the cafeteria. And basically, Marcus apologizes to Shabnam about how he decided to like abandon him by going to this party, and he's his friend. He doesn't deserve that, so he's gonna try to be better for him, which is really nice, sweet moment. Then he notices Saya and then abandons him again at the lunch table. So Saya meets up with Marcus outside the cafeteria, where she showcases a bunch of newspaper articles and basically talks about how it's your boy Chester out there committing all these murders, and it's basically his MO is that he kills these people, puts them in like a position where they're like looks like they're masturbating and cuts their noses off, and then puts like the fuck face killer on it. So he's trying to be a serial killer and get himself recognized, and basically just like we can't let anyone find out about this except for the Vegas crew. Not even Master Lin can't find out, because he's gonna basically kill us all because we just broke one of his rules. But Marcus doesn't care because he knows that Chester has Chico's body, and he can connect Chico with them, so they have to go after him. But in order to have a plan, we want to try to raid the house. He said, okay, we need to go meet some explosives, to basically make sure that we can get this plan done. Is okay. The one person that knows about explosives in the school is Lex. And after what Rebecca said last issue, they don't like each other. So that's going to be an interesting conversation for them all to have. And so it transitions to Lex, and basically Saya's like, gotta give this man an apology. Lex is like, you're fucking shitting me. I don't like this kid. And basically they just have a discussion about how, listen, you talk about how you want to make a statement and you want to change the world for the better, but now you're just a poser, just want to sit on your ass and you're all talk. And Lex, out of his ego, is like, listen, man, you don't know shit about me, all that stuff, yada yada. But Marcus even convinces him to go along with this new plan. So so Lex is on board. Transitions again to Saya and Marcus outside. Saya trying to invite Marcus to this concert that's happening, but Marcus is like, nah, I think Maria wants me to stay and comfort her, and he's like, so if you change your mind, you know where I'll be at. Marcus then transitions to Marcus going to Maria's window when noticing that she's literally drowning herself in tequila and crying, and he's just stunned by it. And as a boyfriend should, he goes up to her and comforts her, and that it's really sweet. Just kidding. No, he just goes to the fucking concert.
That's such a good sequence of him being like, damn, I should really do something about that, but I'm not going to.
I'm not going to. Alright, so it transitions at this concert, and I love the way Craig draws. It's very 80s, with the various neon color that's going on, and this the energy. I think it's really cool. He meets up with Sai at this concert, and Sai is trying to convince Marcus, listen, have some fun for a change, before you have
the mosh pit.
Doing this raid, join the mosh pit with us. He's like, that's not my thing. And she basically drags him into it. And I love the fact that she acknowledged that people always think that mosh pits are about violence, but no, they're actually about it's a dance of camaraderie and exuberance, and it's just everyone trying all the weirdos and freaks just congregating with each other, and it's very fun. And he ends up going inside of it, and he seems to have a good time. And while he leaves out of it, while they walk out, he's talking about, oh my god, you're right, like this freaking skinhead or whatever, like freaking knocked me back down and then picked me back up and then pat me on the back and we just kept going together. It was really fun, like you were right. And and it's all about camaraderie and it's great. And he's like, and she's like, yeah, I'm glad you were able to experience it. And while giving him a cigarette, while he's smoking, she asks for a cigarette, and basically the fact that like he notices that like one of her fingers is missing, is missing, and asks like, hey, like what's the deal with that? And it says like we don't really know much about each other, like what's going on. Like I feel like you know so much about me. It's like, yeah, I'm your sponsor. Like that's my job. It's like, yeah, but like it should be reciprocated a little bit more. Know what I mean? Like, come on, let me get to know more about you. And like you can't just be like all dark and mysterious forever. And she looks at him, and Marcus looks at her, and they end up going to the alley and she kisses him. And the book ends with him saying that like he, for a second while that happened, he thought about Maria as a concerned boyfriend, and what an asshole he was for even like that he left her the way he did and going to this concert, but only for a second, and it just passes, and he just embraces everything with Saya. That's how issue 9 ends. So thoughts on issue 9?
A lot happened in this issue. I guess going back to the beginning. With Maria's backstory, very brutal, like we were saying. I guess everyone has like dead parents, family, whatever in this book. That seems to be the trend so far.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting. Like, there's a little bit of a parallel between Chico and Willie, because if you remember, Willie's fake backstory was that he killed a bunch of people when he was very young. But Chico was the one who actually did that, and you can, I guess, retroactively kind of see that, like, that's kind of probably in part, among other reasons, why Chico was kind of this, like, really angry, like, tough dude, like, for real.
I never noticed that. That is actually kind of cool. Like,
I don't know if it's intentional, but that's how I'm choosing to read it.
Yeah, and that's how, like, you have... Yeah, it makes sense because like that, and you know how like Willie is as a character, even though he hides behind this rep that he has and acts all tough, but he's actually a kid with a good heart. While Chico is just this freaking cold, sadistic, jealous man with who has had a taste of killing before. So like it's like it makes sense that like everyone has a past, and you can kind of see how they like you can understand like how they like the person that they are due to like what happened to them in their past. I think it's really that's a great point to make. I didn't even make that correlation.
Hey, I did something literally analysis, but as for the rest of this, I don't really have too many thoughts. Again, Marcus and his scumbag era over here. I like him. I like the scene at the like rave where they're just having like fun and moshing and all that, As someone who's also been in like a mosh pit in someone's like basement, they are fun. But
Raka got skin in the game apparently.
You just had to be there. But again, I am knocking Marcus points for cheating on his girlfriend, even if she is crazy.
That's true.
But I do like the relationship they're building with him and Saya. I like their like connection, how they are slowly like opening up to each other. I just wish he wasn't cheating on his girlfriend. Yeah,
I get it.
I have.
I also want to acknowledge the fact that like now that we've seen El Diablo in this, like Chico's dad, now we can understand why Maria was so afraid of him finding out that Chico's dead, and why and also understand how Marcus is trying his best to make sure that they get Chico's body so that his dad can never find out what's going on, because I'm assuming Maria told him about El Diablo and what he's done and how he's a freaking monster. So I love that that this was his introduction, the brutality of his introduction, and it makes sense. So there's that. Again, I like all the stuff with Marcus and Saya, and their camaraderie and like their spark and their connection that they have. Again, even though Marcus is dating Maria, you kind of can see he has some dissonance with that still. Like especially when he leaves her in her most vulnerable moment. But yeah, I definitely, and also like I definitely think the mosh pit was very fun. Again, it showcased like, yeah, like it's an 80s comic, guys. Like look at all the neon and the colors and just like everyone having a good time and the punk bands and shit. Like, it's really
88.
cool.
We're about to enter grunge, baby.
Honestly, wait, when did grunge start actually? Because I was thinking about that when I was reading this.
It was 90s. I don't know exactly what year.
Yeah, I wonder what Marcus would think about if about grunge and like Nirvana and shit. Like knowing his stance on music from what we've read so far. But yeah, I thought this issue was really cool. And again, that bomb drop at the end where Marcus, he's doing some adultery again. He needs the A on his chest, like freaking Matt Murdock and She-Hulk, man. He needs that A on his chest, man.
Yeah, he's got that emo boy riz.
That emo riz, man. It's crazy. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for issue 9. Also want to acknowledge the band is called Hot Garbage and the Adolescents. That's an awesome name. I like that name a lot. Yeah, it's good shit. All right, so we're gonna move on to issue number 10. And card, there we go. Issue number 10. And cool cover. I mean, I like it, but I mean, it's definitely the other ones stand out more.
Yeah, I agree. I also hate the lamb's inclusion on this cover just for what it implies.
Oh, I mean, for people that don't know, who haven't watched last episode, if you haven't watched last episode, watch last episode. What are you doing? Come on, you can't just start at the. You can't just go to part A, part B, not go to part A. What's wrong with you? Yeah, no. He Chester is I don't know what's the word for it. What he's very into bestiality. He fucks animals.
He's a zoophile.
That's what it's called. Yeah, he's a zoophile. He's a zoophile, and he's not shy about it either. So, but yeah, it's a nice little cover with him and his inbred family, and it's like very disturbing. But all right, so this issue starts off with Marcus waking up in a random park, hungover, confused, naked, and next to Saya, and he realizes that he cheated on Maria with her best friend, and also remembers that he's late to open the comic book shop that he works at because there's a really big sale happening. So out of pure panic of what's going on, he runs to the shop in absolute panic and leaves Saya alone in the park by herself, which she's pissed off about. So again, Marcus off to a wonderful start. And while this is going on, he basically I like these few pages where he's running through like the woods and he's like causing like mayhem and like panic is bumping into people. I think he grabs a woman's burrito and just eats it like mid sprint for no reason because he's hungry, I guess. And then he starts a car accident, and it's like what like it's the mayhem that's happening is very interesting because due to the mayhem that's going on in his own mind and due to what's going on. And while he's on the run, he thinks about his betrayal to Maria, how he sees Saya and how he sees Saya as a person, how he thinks that like she sees me, she like makes me feel whole, I'm with her, all this other stuff. But also the fact that like he recalls, because he was drunk, he recalls the fact that he idiotically told Saya that he loved her while they were having sex, which makes him seem like he's even more. Yeah, it makes it seem like he's more of a. It's the fact he's more of an asshole, which I think is wild. All right, so it transitions to him opening. So he gets to the store, and he's surrounded by a bunch of annoying kids who want their comics, who want their half-off comics, and he's being bombarded by these annoying kids at this store for like a few hours. And the more this is happening more and more, the more pissed off he's getting, especially this kid Mike, who asks Marcus that he promised him to draw, I think, a picture of like Wolverine fighting Sabretooth or something, and at the same time his stomach is growling from the burrito that he swiped from that woman while he was panic running to the comic book shop. So out of pure annoyance and fed up with these freaking kids, he attempts to fart on Mike's face, but only to shit himself instead. and it's hilarious because like everyone acknowledges it, like, and he immediately is like, "Oh shit!" Like I just crapped my pants, and he just runs to the back office, the bathroom. He's like, "Mike, you're in charge. Make sure no one steals anything." And it's so wild. So then, and I just want to acknowledge, and then while he's like trying to clean himself off, like he literally takes off his clothes because he said that like this shit is seeped
It's
down
everywhere. It was real bad.
his shit is seeped down to his shoes, and it's all over the place. He takes off all of his clothes and then just starts putting it in the sink. And like the water pressure in the sink isn't that strong enough, so like it's literally just like a little stream. And he's just like, and while this is happening, he basically talks about how much he thinks he deserves this. Like this is karma. What he did.
Karma though.
It is though. Like it is. As karma for what happened with Maria. And what happened with him and Saya. And while he is, while he's trying to clean himself off, the Blaine, who's a store owner, catches him and kicks him out, leading Marcus to find the rest of his crew outside waiting for him, reminding him that Operation Kill Fuckface is tonight. So yeah, it's kind of wild, and it's just like, and he smells like shit doing it. Like it's just like it's funny stuff. So transition to that following night at the Tenderloin, where Saya goes over the plan. So the plan is that number one, Lex is gonna pull to the front, posing as a mailman, dropping an explosive package by the doorstep. Two, Willie and Billy are head to the back, posing as garbage men to drop off an explosive at the back, which in the form of a trash can. Three, Maria and Marcus will drive a van full of explosives through a gate set to hit the mailbox truck. Once the mailbox truck explodes as a distraction, both bombs at the front and the rear will detonate, while everyone charges in at all sides of the building to catch Fuckface off guard and to initially kill him. So that's pretty much the plan. And while she's explaining what's going on, it's that typical thing you see in movies where like the plan actually like goes into place. And he enters the building, and there's no one, and then you're just like, okay, this ain't good. So while Lex, Marcus, and Saya charge in, they find the rooms empty, confused, and put off guard. They realize that they're led to an ambush by Fuckface and his family, and full-on shootout happens. We see Marcus and Lex behind a fridge trying to take cover. You see freaking Fuckface outside, being like, "Ah, look at me! You thought I was stupid, huh? But nah, I may be inbred, but I'm smart." And it's just like it's kind of wild. And it cuts to Saya hopping through a window, and while she hears all the gunfire outside, one of his inbred cousins comes out of the closet and whacking her in the face, and they get into a scuffle. And this woman is insane. She's talking about how like Ronald McDonald and just clowns and PCP, and she's just saying random inbred stuff that inbreds say, because they're inbred and stupid. So
but even worse than that, they're on PCP, so they basically have superpowers.
That's true. Like Fuckface is like, "Yo, I'm gonna get all my inbred family members hopped up on freaking drugs. It's gonna make us stronger." It's hilarious. But yeah. So while this PCP high off PCP woman is beating the shit out of Saya, her opponent gets the upper hand on her, and has her pinned down and puts her own sword up to her own throat. And while fighting her, while she's in the scuffle, she notices Maria perched by the window, and doing absolutely nothing and just watching. And Maria goes up to Saya while she's down and while she's literally fighting for her life, and just says, "You fucked him, didn't you?" And that's how issue 10 ends. So that's on issue 10.
What an ending.
Dude, right? It's kind of wild.
Exciting. Ooh. I love it.
Yeah, it's... Oh, man. I saw that ending and I was like, this fucking watch is cold. Like, it also shows again that, like, how crazy Maria is in terms of how she thinks. And, yeah, it's wild. But, yeah, Rick, go off. What are your thoughts on issue 10?
Well, like I just said, I love this ending. I love that it's like very, like we keep saying, high school drama, just with assassinations and murder and all that around it. The beginning of this issue with Marcus in the comic book store. I think that sequence is so funny, especially the way it's drawn.
Oh,
The
dude, the way
expressions
Craig
are
draws it, it's
hysterical.
so funny. Like especially with a giant fart cloud that like he like the onomatopoeia is the fart cloud that like Mark shits out.
I
It's
love, if you go back a slide,
Mhm.
the like slimy grin on Marcus's face before he does it, and then the immediate panic that sets in.
It's great. Because he's always like, yo, like this is gonna be the funniest shit. That's good. It's just gonna, even though like I just cheated on my girlfriend, it's gonna make my day, and it doesn't, because it just goes horribly wrong. I mean, yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's great. Like Craig does a really good job. I think with the art so far. I mean, I haven't really talked much about like his panel work, but his panel work in Deadly Class is some of the best panel work I've ever seen in comics. The way he does the composition, the way he does the characters in these panels, and the way he does it, tell the story is really cool. But yeah, no, he does a really good job. Just that scene alone is just too funny. Yeah. What else do you think, Rebecca?
What else? I think I like the like planned out like heist sequence, so, like with the blueprints and everything like that. I think that's also some good paneling. I like that, as you expect in a heist kind of thing, it doesn't go according to plan and they have to improvise. We'll see more where that goes next issue, but I think it's cool setup.
It's very cool.
I like their plan is just to like blow the fuck out of them.
Honestly, yeah, like we're gonna blow them to holy hell while they least expect it, and then we're just gonna end up killing them, and it's gonna be great. But I think they found it very interesting. We're like, even though Saya has been scouting the Tenderloin to see like, you know, how many people are in there and you can see like what they're up against, I think how Chester kind of gets the upper hand gets the upper hand with them is the fact that like they underestimated how many inbred fan members he actually has, because he has a lot.
There's a clown car in there.
Yeah, so like basically like he knew that like, yeah, like even though they're gonna come after us, the like strength in numbers and the element of surprise is like his upper hand, which I think is kind of clever. We just think it's pretty clever in terms of how Chester thinks about that. So yeah.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that too, I guess especially with Saya and Miranda's, they're not exactly a united force. Like they're all working together, but they're not on the same page.
Yeah, like like straight up because of literally like that, just what happened that night between Marcus and Saya kind of sets the vibe of like, you know, the unsettledness of like, yeah, like even though like they're trying to get this mission done, there's still a little bit of tension just between Marcus, Saya, just because the whole Marcus, Saya, and Maria love triangle, I guess you want to say.
Yeah.
How that it's like Avengers Endgame. They're splitting the team up, and now they can't get the job done. Know what I mean? Like it's kind of that vibe, and it's very interesting. But yeah, I think it's very, very fun. The fact that, you know, we get to see more like now the aftermath of what happened last issue with Marcus sleeping with Saya. But here's the thing, right? Like even though he does feel guilty, which is great. That means he's a human. Good on you, Marcus. But that also like you kind of tell that like, you know, when the way he talks about Saya, like, you know, like when he talks about Saya and like that and that experience that they share together, he isn't mad about it either. Like he because he feel like even says like, yeah, like he understands like, yeah, like even though I'm with Maria and I betrayed her, like I still have this connection with Saya that like I feel good about, and that makes me feel happy. That makes all the problems go away. Like, which in this case with Maria, their relationship, even though, yeah, like he cares about Maria and like she's his girlfriend, but like them being together is causing more problems. You know?
Yeah. And they talk, I don't know which issue it is, but they talk about like how it's almost like he was kind of coerced into that relationship because she did kill Chico for him.
And it's and especially like when we've seen, you know, how Saya and Marcus have kind of like slowly been opening themselves up to each other as friends. Like you can tell when he said that, like I love you while they were having like amazing like drunk sex, he kind of low-key meant it. Like he meant it. Like, you know, because I don't think he's ever said that to Maria so far.
Yeah. But then again, Saya didn't say she loved him, so
That's true. We just saw her. We just saw her look like a fucking demon. Like we just saw her like a demon smiling at this man. It's just kind of wild. But yeah, nah. And then the whole ambush is great. The plan that they try to come up with is great, and obviously it doesn't go according to plan, which is what you said. That was very fun. And yeah, nah. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen next on Dragon Ball Z? It's just like freaking. It's awesome. I think it's really well done. And yeah, just that ending. Oof, icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. We'd have girls fight each other over a boy. That's typical high school shit. It's so great. But yeah, I loved it a lot. So yeah, so what would get to? If you have any more thoughts, we'll just get into the final issue number 11. And I don't know how I feel about this cover. I don't know.
I like it. I like how it like draws you into the eye there.
It does, yeah. I mean, that kind of makes you see. It gives you the idea of just like Marcus and I guess Maria's relationship in a way through this cover. I don't know, like it's just the trouble that's gonna ensue due to Maria. That's what I get. That's the vibes I get from this cover. But I digress. So anyway, this issue starts off with basically what's happening with everyone. We see Saya almost fighting for her life, and we're actually like it's interesting because Marcus doesn't narrate this issue straight out the gate. It's mostly from Saya's perspective, and the fact that she basically like while on her last legs, Saya feels that like what's happened to her like at this very moment, fighting for her life, like isn't actually real due to the fact that she's about to die over a boy, and the fact that like in her eyes she thinks that she actually sleeping with Marcus was actually like her doing Maria like a huge favor as a friend. So I don't know. I was kind of lost on that. I was like, I don't know what you think about Saya, but whatever. So it transitions to Billy and Willie at the back. So behind the building, Billy detonates the bomb at the back door, and while he attempts to break down the door, he stumbles, revealing that fuckface planned for this to happen, planned for them to bust through the back, and actually fortified the door with like 2 feet of reinforced steel. So yeah, Billy is not coming through to give him an assist. Like he's screwed. So after that, transitions back to Lex and Marcus behind the refrigerator. Basically trying to like in the shootout with Fuckface and old cousin Jim, and while they attempt to kill Marcus using the fridge while they're using the fridge for cover, they're surprised to find a stick of dynamite, and instead that detonates, killing old cousin Jim, revealing that Marcus and Lex are actually like they were hiding behind the fridge, but they actually were inside the fridge so they wouldn't die from the blast. I think it's like very creative.
They pulled an Indiana Jones.
Yeah, which movie was that one? Everywhere like survived the nuke.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, dude. With Shia LaBeouf.
I never watched that one, but I've seen that clip, and I still think it's such bullshit. But this is a more realistic attempt at that. So Rick Remender's Indiana Jones fan, confirmed. Yeah. So while dealing with Sue, who is the crazy inbred girl that was fighting Saya in the last issue, Maria and Saya instead, like once Sue is dealt with, which is hilarious because Saya just throws a sign to her throat, which is like kind of wild. But instead, they decide to fight over each other. They try to fight each other and argue over Marcus, which leaves them to deal with 2 more inbreds, which are one of Fuckface's cousins, which seems to be more like the tougher ones, and Gran, who's the Chester's grandmother. So yeah, there's that. And while this is happening, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, while this is happening, everyone's fighting each other, and also the cops end up showing up due to that fire that they started in the beginning when they blew up the mail truck. The cops are about to show up as well. While Fuckface goes to the basement, Marcus attempts to follow him while Lex gives him cover. While while fighting Grand Maria contemplates about her manipulation problem involving Marcus killing Chico, forcing Marcus to stay with her after killing Chico, and then and the fact that she was gonna kill Chico, and the fact that she killed Chico regardless anyway, so like she didn't even need to manipulate Marcus, so it was gonna happen regardless. She killed Chico in an attempt to anyway, in the hopes of keeping a decent guy in her life, and also having a friend that she can count on and fall back on in Saya. And due to everything that's happened, she now decides that she's done with the pity, done with the self-pity, done with the moping, and that she doesn't need anyone, that she doesn't need anyone at all, and is going to mostly care about Maria. And yeah, it's interesting. And she does this while brutally murdering Gran with a pitchfork that she uses. And it's fucking wild. And while that's happening, the huge inbred guy is like, "Oh, you killed my Gran." And it's like, what the fuck? While in the basement, Marcus discovers cages that are filled with angry dogs, which clearly are the dogs that Fuckface has been messing around with, because he's a zoophile. Thanks for talking that word, Rebecca. Got it. Because he's been fucking doggy booty holes, and
you don't gotta say it like that.
He was. But then while he's checking out all these cages of these angry dogs and is horrified, he flips his flashlight around, and it is revealed that one of these cages is actually Mrs. Ranks, who was the headmistress of the boys' home. Chester's been keeping her hostage this entire time, and she's lost her mind because she literally is spitting out nonsense. And then she ends up, while this happens, she ends up getting shot in the head while Chester tries to get the upper hand on Marcus with a shotgun and catches him off guard and shoots her instead. And it's kind of wild. So she's introduced as the twist, and it's taken out immediately.
It's a very dark plot twist.
It is. And while this is happening, Saya and Maria is about to be killed by the huge inbred guy until Saya actually comes in and saves her life. And stabs him with a sword, but he doesn't go down because he got super inbred powers. And while he has this sword stuck in his chest, Billy comes in with the clutch. He comes in through the window and shoots him in the head, and he dies. And then while this is happening, I'm seeing this next page. And so while this is happening, Marcus had a last attempt to save his own life from Chester, and Chester starts monologuing about how Marcus took to basically he killed all those people in the boys' home and got no credit from it. All that credit went to Marcus, which is why he's trying to rebrand himself as a serial killer in San Francisco. That's the motive, the reason behind the motivation. And as a last attempt to save as Marcus tries to attempt to save himself, as a last effort, he releases one of the dogs that I think is revealed. His name is Sunshine, and the dog immediately goes straight to Fuckface and bites him to death, killing him. And while he's slowly dying, he just spits out one last F slur before Marcus runs away. And yeah, it's a wild death, but it's a death. But it's also comeuppance because bestiality is wrong. So while the firefighters, and while it's happening, the firefighters are attempting to put out the fire, and it's funny because Lex comes out as the mailman and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on here? These people just came out of nowhere and just set my car on fire." I tried calling the boss, but he wasn't responding, and I love how that's how he gets out scot-free pretty much. While the firefighters attempt to put the fire out, Marcus finds Chico's severed head in the fridge, and while he's leaving, he catches up with Maria and tries to explain, talk to her about what happened between him and Saya, and that it was wrong, that he was sorry. And then once they walk outside, they are interrupted by the reveal that, Chico's dad is actually there. El Diablo shows up and starts monologuing to them about how he found Chico, and And while he's talking, the goons actually the goons have taken Willie hostage and have a gun to his head, and that's how issue 11 ends. So thoughts on issue 11?
This was an action-packed issue.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's just going the entire time, and I thought it was great. The action in this, like the drawing and the sequencing, is really good. The dialogue is good. I like the moment with Maria where she's like, I need to stop worrying about what other people think of me, and I need to like learn to take care of myself and be happy with myself. I like that moment. Leading up to that, I like, again, the high school drama with her and Saya fighting over Marcus, who probably doesn't deserve to be fought over, but
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I wasn't.
Okay. Like I said, the action was really good. The like showdown, like kind of not really showdown with Marcus and Fuckface was good. I like that moment where he's like, I'm not doing this for like Chico. I'm doing this like for revenge for myself.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means with the reveal of the like teacher, like what I'm really supposed to get out of that, but that was, like I said, very dark.
It was very dark, and I didn't see it coming when I first read the book anyway. And it's like, I think it's like, I'm just wondering like, how the fuck did she survive? Well, granted, and they don't explain how, and I'll say this right now, they don't explain how she's there, like how Chester even got her out. Like she's just there. Like he managed to do it somehow. She's kept her there the entire time. But also, it's kind of a reminder as well that, like, yeah, even though Chester is a very messed up human being, he was also a product of the abuse of the boys' home as well. So he has every right to also get revenge on Mrs. Ranks just as much as Marcus does,
Yeah, I think that's probably a good point. I mean, obviously it doesn't hit the same because Chester's also a monster, but
yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, I agree with pretty much everything you said. This issue was very action-packed, very well. The action is paced very well. The way it's drawn, the way Craig draws it is very well done. And yeah, no, it's very good. Yeah, all the stuff that's been mentioned about, the stuff with Maria and wanting to basically, stop worrying about what people think of her and focus more on herself. Even though, she's still crazy, but like it's still a nice development in her character. Because she's always worrying about what other people think of her and all that stuff. But focusing on her is what is most important in terms of her character, in terms of what we know from her character. Yeah.
And I'm interested to see where that goes, especially with this cliffhanger here.
Oh yeah, and it was a good setup from last issue, 2 issues ago, with why El Diablo was brought up in her flashback, because he's gonna come up again in the next arc. So it's really well done, and it also kind of reveals that how did he even find them? That's gonna be the mystery with next issue, with next volume as well. But very well done with the twist. Yeah, the action's great. Everything is just great. Like and the fact that I do like the change of pace where we, instead of focusing on Marcus in this issue, we focus on the 2 girls he's been fucking with the whole time. Instead, in terms of like what's going on in their headspace, and with this issue and last issue, and it's very well done. And also think that the death of Fuckface is really satisfying, and how you said Marcus is doing it for himself, not because of protecting, not for Chico. And the fact that he dies in the hands of an animal that he was abusing, I think it comes full circle in terms of the karma. Listen, Marcus and Fuckface be getting karma, man. It works so well. But yeah, it's just more important that twist at the end, where that's what, like, even though this every like in terms of pacing, we're just like action, just like hit after hit or hit, and then it just bomb drops with like these kids having to deal with Chico's dad, who has a reputation of being a fucking monster, and how they're gonna survive it. That's what I think is the standout to the ending of this.
I have a question. You don't have to answer it because obviously I haven't read it, but I don't believe that Fuckface is really dead. Is he actually dead?
Yes. He's gone. It took me a while because I had to think about it for a second because it's been a minute. But yeah, no, he doesn't. He's not coming back. He's dead. That dog killed him.
Okay. If you
No,
say
being
so.
serious. I'm being dead ass. Like he's. Yeah, no. Yeah, people. I'm being serious. This is the last time we see Fuckface. He's dead. Like that dog murked him. All right. So, all right. Just letting y'all know. Like he's not coming back. Why does that trying to like change your thoughts about him a little bit? Like.
No, I was just wondering because we see in this panel here, like, again, he doesn't double tap, you know?
That's true, he doesn't. But listen, dogs are pretty effective. So that's the lesson to be learned. But yeah, overall, this issue was pretty well done. I loved it a lot. Very, very, very good ending to this volume as a whole. But yeah, Rebecca, you want to get into final thoughts right quick? Is that the
Sure.
mood? So what are your thoughts on the whole volume of Volume 2, Kids of the Black Hole?
Overall, I think it's a very solid volume. There's a lot of good stuff in this volume, in terms of both art and plot, dialogue, characters, whatever. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the characters from last issue kind of take a back seat. This one's mainly focused on Marcus and his relationship drama, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just something I've noticed. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, this volume's great. Getting Marcus, seeing more Marcus of him actually acclimated into the world, into the school of King's Dominion, and how the stuff from what happened at the last volume with Chico's death and stuff in Vegas and all that, having actual like repercussions and stuff in this in terms of his relationship with Maria, and as well as all this stuff with Fuckface being the antagonist of this arc. I thought he was. I personally think that Fuckface is done better in the show than he is in here. Cause they do a good job of giving us more time with Fuckface in the show than they do in what we've seen him in so far. And I think it paid off better. But overall, I think he's a fun villain. Best villains are the villains that are tied to the main character's past. So it's great. Glad that he's dead. He's a piece of shit. So, also just seeing like the high school stuff happening, the high school drama, but also like the fact that like a high school night out is them trying to kill a murderer that's connected to Marcus, so that they can get the person that died's body, so that his dad won't find out. But yet anyway, Chico's dad finds out regardless, and it's great setup for the next volume as well. And also just more planting seeds, like because the Master Lin stuff that's brought up about him Shabman being a plant to spy on Marcus, and El Diablo showing up, and it's good. Again, more seasoning, man, more cooking, and it's good shit. But yeah, I don't have any more thoughts. I think this is it's like a 9. It's like an 9 out of 10, like 8.5 actually, 8.5. It's good shit. And listen, guys, don't cheat. That's the moral of the story. Don't cheat. It's not good.
Yeah, don't cheat or you'll shit yourself. That's the real lesson.
Yeah, don't eat a burrito from a random woman like while you're panic spreading the comic book store, because you will shit yourself. Like that'll happen.
It's the fact of life.
It's the fact of life. But yeah, people, that's pretty much it. So tune in next week. 2 weeks from now. Yeah, like 2 weeks from now, where we're going to be talking about volume 3. And I actually am back. I don't know if you can tell, but like I'm very excited. Oh yeah. Next week, I'm gonna pull up the thumbnail here real quick. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick and put up the thumbnail for this episode. Volume 3 is going to be titled Snake Pit, which is going to cover issues 12 to 16. And as you see here, it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Listen, man. If you thought Fuckface was a good villain, wait till you see how Diablo pull up. Oh my god, I can't wait. But
For power scaling and assholes here.
honestly, we are, and it's good shit. But yeah, I'm very excited. But most importantly, because the moment we get to Volume 4, that's one of my favorite volumes in Deadly Class from as much of what I have read so far. I consider Volume 4 an event. How about that? That's gonna be an event for the series. Like that's how good it is. But yeah, so look out for episode 3, Snake Pit. It's gonna be very fun. It's gonna be a good time. Hopefully Demoan could join us as well. And yeah, people, that's pretty much it. So as always, people, thanks for everyone watching this or who will watch this. We appreciate the support, we appreciate the love. Yeah, listen, it's gonna be we're grinding, people. We're getting stuff done, and it's gonna be nice. Also, I just want to basically just plug real quick. Check out the last clip we did of the Deadly Class stuff, where we talk about how Deadly Class is just high school but edgy. I think I might change it to now Deadly Class is King's Dominion is Hogwarts but edgy. I might change the thumbnail and just make a new title for that one. Yeah, check out the last clip. Check out some of the reactions we've done, some of the Indie Corner After Darks we've done. I know people are you wondering, when's the next Indie Corner After Dark? We're trying to figure that out because
somebody didn't see Guardians. So
I didn't see Guardians. So I don't know when I'll see Guardians. So we'll see, but we will have more After Dark.
We'll definitely be doing Spider-Verse though.
Oh fuck yeah, we're gonna do Spider-Verse. Yeah, but expect more After Darks in the future. And yeah, expect more content. Also, check out the shorts that I've been doing on Wednesdays, where I give you guys recommendations on books to read. I hope they're really easy to make, because that's why I do them. But it's expect another one tomorrow, and we talk about a little book that I actually read this morning, and it was really nice. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And yeah, people, as always, appreciate the support, appreciate the love. Comment, like, subscribe, and yeah, people, will catch y'all next time. All right, get home safe, and see you later. Bye.